Hey guys, welcome back. We're playing some more Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. We just saved the scarred one. We killed some people. We had a good time. For those of you who haven't seen any of my other videos, just so you know, next month, February, we're going to be playing all dating sims. So any of my long-running gameplay, like stories, stuff, it'll be put on hold for that month. So just don't feel weird. It'll come back, I promise. And I have a list of all the games I haven't finished. We're going to get to those too, I promise. So without further ado, let's continue. Alright, who's this guy? A nosy reporter. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffling around Sophie's... I just gotta follow. I forgot. There's been a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. Somebody's watching me, part 1. Let's do that, because that was bugging me. And then well, actually... It's been some time since what kindred historians will no doubt refer to as the Battle of the Coteries. Still no word from Tamika. Maybe it's time you drop by and see how she's doing. Yeah, let's do that one. I want to finish her story. I thought we already finished it, my bad. Immediately after you enter the park, you could tell that something is wrong. An odd silence hangs in the air, like the silence from a choking victim after the fight leaves them. It doesn't take you long to find Tamika. You see her in the distance, leaning against a tree. As you make your way towards her, she puts her finger on your lips. To her lips. Only then do you notice the blood dripping from her side. You pick her up, letting her lean on you. She looks at you, her eyes wide with fear and rage. They're here. The Inquisition. They found us. Raoul, he drew them away. Saved my ass. He's still out there. We need to go. We need to help him. You're bleeding out. You're in no shape to mount a rescue. Screw you. Jolt of pain makes her almost bend in half. I'm going. You're barely standing. I won't let you get yourself killed. I'm going. You won't stop me. Might as well kill me now. Through sheer force of will, she manages to straighten herself up. Let's fucking do this. You head deeper into the park. Soon you stumble upon a set of innocuous barriers, service vehicles, black and yellow caution tape, men in work suits that keep the civilians out of a certain area. It's not all that difficult for a creature of the night to avoid these. You'd almost think the presence here is accidental, but once you spot black vans deeper in, you get a foreboding feeling. Tamika grabs your shoulder and squeezes hard. Hold up. There. You have to squint to see it. 2 SI scouts have taken tactical positions between the trees. There's no way in hell you'd have noticed them or hidden in time if Tamika hasn't alerted you. Body armor, camo, night vision goggles, rifles, and semi-auto shotguns. Some equipment you can't even name. These guys mean business. There's no time. She's getting ready to pounce on them. Consequences be damned. You need to think and fast. Take one out, leave the other to Tamika. Focusing your efforts, you head to the nearest opponent, letting Tamika take care of the other one. Your target falls before he's able to pull the trigger. A faint gurgle lets you know Tamika has done her part as well. You look over and see her standing over the rapid cooling corpse of the soldier. She flicks her wrist, sprinkling the grass under her feet with the man's blood. It's a tie. All things considered, she seems to be doing all right. You keep on moving. Tamika gestures at the nearest patch of trees. Stick to the shadows. Take them one at a time. Sound advice. You take it to heart as you move it towards Tamika's haven. It doesn't take long for you to run across more of them. 3 operatives in full riot gear running down a park alley, sweeping the area with barrel-mounted flashlights. Keeping very still and very quiet, you wait for them to approach. Tamika watches you from the bushes nearby, clearly waiting to follow your lead. Try to take 2 of them out. As the first victim marches past, you lunge at him, sticking your teeth into his neck. In one sudden motion, you rip a chunk of flesh from his throat. Quickly, before the other 2 can react, you run at them, full speed. Just as you're about to take the first one out, Tamika pounces from the side, taking him out as an instant. As soon as she lands, she springs back towards the other one. A single slash of her claws is all it takes. The man's body falls to the ground. After a second or 2, his head follows. You raise an eyebrow, Tamika. She hits back with a roguish grin. 2 to 1. No time to savor your victory. A savage yell rings out from across the tree line. You know that voice, Raoul. Tamika throws herself forward where it came from. It's almost unbelievable how fast she moves. Considering the state she's in, you're barely able to keep up. Mere seconds later, you find yourself under the cover of a rose bush, giving yourself a clear view of a nearby clearing. Off in the distance, you spot a group of gunmen converging. Slowly but surely, the circle of hunters closes in on a lone figure struggling on the ground. The figure lets out a pained roar. Looking closely, you realize it's Raoul, caught in the same steel net you saw used against the scarred one. He struggles frantically, trying to break free. With each passing seconds, step by step, the operatives close in around him. Driven by instinct, Tamika jerks forward to save her brother. She stops herself at the last moment, as if reminded of your presence. Okay, how do we do this? Fast and fierce. We going fast and fierce, no messing around. Take him out as quickly as you can. She nods in approval. Sounds good. You move in like a two-person SWAT team, staying low to the ground before you finally make your first move. The first two hunters meet their death. Unfortunately, it's enough for the others to notice your presence. So much for the element of surprise. As two men run towards you with their fingers already on the trigger, another approaches you, stabbing at the air with their cattle prods. Close combat hunters. Going for the low-hanging fruit, you engage the cattle prod wielder hunters. With some effort, you manage to avoid getting shocked, and within seconds, both your opponents lay dead on the grass. Meanwhile, Tamika does her share as she swiftly avoids the gunfire and moves in for the kill. 4 bodies hit the ground. 2 vampires are still standing. You both turn towards the last remaining foe. Driven by sheer desperation, the sole surviving soldier stands over Raoul and aims his semi-automatic shotgun at his head. Tamika growls. You just let her stand down. There's no room for mistakes here. Oh, God, we're gonna fuck this up. Let him go and we'll let you live. Tamika, on my mark. Faint whisper escapes your lips, makes its way into Tamika's ear. On my mark, be ready. With shaking hands, the gunman looks to you, then Tamika, as if warning you not to come any closer. It's mostly for show. He's fucked and he knows it. You bide your time, waiting for the right moment to signal to Tamika. Finally, you see an opening. A split second of hesitation. Before you can make your move, Raoul springs up, grabbing the man's gun. As they struggle, you and Tamika lurch towards the gunman. A shot rings out, Raoul's body collapsing under the weight of the steel net, his head a gaping hole. The operative looks at you, startled and confused. His eyes widen, so Tamika fly towards him, death incarnate. The man's screams echo across the park. She doesn't stop, not when his intestines are shred on the grass, not when his eyes turn to bloody holes, not when his face turns to mush. Only when the screaming stops, only when it's certain he has met his cruel end, only then does she stop. You watch in silence as she walks over to what's left of her brother. Falling to her knees, Tamika lets out a yell, unlike any you've ever heard, as if she's been possessed by some wailing spirit, a banshee screaming out into the sky. Her scream echoes across the clearing until, finally, it all goes quiet. With tears streaming down her face, she looks up at you. It's my fault. I put us in their sights. If it wasn't for me, he'd still... Clenching her fists, she pounds the ground in frustration. Fuck! It was his choice as well. He wasn't a child, he knew what could happen. She bows her head, presses her chin into her chest. It's like she's processing what you said, coming to terms with it. Finally, she looks up and gets back on her feet. She seems to have shed her despair, at least for the time being. Let's get out of here. Hastily, yet carefully, you make your way to that park. You don't stop until you reach a nearby alleyway. There, in the relative safety of the surrounding darkness, you take a moment to rest. Leaning against the wall, Tamika presses her hand onto her wound. Fighting off the pain, she looks up at you. Let's split up. Less attention. Hunters, spotters on the rooftops. I'm not going anywhere. We need to get you patched up. I know a guy. We'll be fine. Knowing when it's time to fold, you nod and head towards the far end of the alley. After several steps, you look back to see how Tamika's doing. You smile, noting her absence. Oopsie. Having managed past a couple blocks without incident, you thank your lucky stars and blend into the nightly New York crowd. Hopefully, Tamika's made it as well. Let's look at the person following us. I forgot. I played this game a little bit, and I remember her just a little bit. Recently, you're feeling as if somebody keeps tailing you. Time to confirm your suspicions. Someone is following you around. Has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is what to do about it. Yeah. You venture off into the street with the goal of letting your stalker know you're aware being followed. It's time to stop this ridiculous charade. It's raining outside, and as you step onto the street in front of your haven, you wonder whether that'll help you. Will you be able to see the footprints of your stalker in puddles on the ground? Not sure where to start, you slip a few bills into a homeless man and chat up the guy who runs the local bodega. Both of them talk your ear off about strange characters hanging around, but none of their stories seem right to you. Walking the streets, you're convinced by turns that everyone you see is an enemy agent out to get you and that your stalker has decided to take the night off. Frustrated after a couple of hours of useless searching, you cross the road without looking where you're going. A courier on a motorbike zooms towards you and has no time to brake and swerve as you suddenly step in front of him. For a split second, your eyes meet those of the man on the bike, and you both know you'll collide. You'll get hurt. Something hits you, pushing you forward. You tumble, flying to the sidewalk as the courtier zooms past. You feel a weight on your back, catch a glimpse of something. A person? Female, you think, and then she disappears. You could spend a couple more hours trying to find the woman who's been stalking you, but in your shriveled, undead heart, you know how it's to be futile. She's gone. I need to rest. Okay, fine. Coterie al-Asmay, the sheriff of New York City, is knocking at the door of your haven. The sight comes as more than a little shocking. If he had business with you, you either expect to see him already inside or never see him coming at all. Yet there he is, on the other side of the peephole, patiently and politely waiting for you to let him in. You carefully unlock the door and face him in silence. Evening, may I come in? You simply stare at him. Your lack of answer doesn't faze him, and your lack of resistance as he starts walking inside has obviously been interpreted as a permission. Once inside, he starts looking around as you cautiously stay by the door. Haven't really had time to make this place your own yet, have you? It feels like Langley's apartment through and through, a secluded study where nobody studies anything. Look at the books on the shelf, obviously meant to impress guests, not to be read. They revel nothing about the owner, aside from the aching desire to be taken seriously as an intellectual. He picks one of them up and smirks before putting it away. The phenomenology of spirit. Next to all this garbage poetry, we can make a bet. If she's read more than 20 pages, I owe you $50 and a gallon of blood. The kind of place that self-professed hermits entome themselves in to suffer. Considering how much you have to run around these nights, you probably only use it as shelter from the sun and rest, right? Even though he's obviously making an effort to come off as non-threatening, it's impossible to forget the impression he made. You see him as a fierce predator, trying hard not to expose his true colors. You sense a familiar fight or flight response as you struggle to find a diplomatic answer to his last question. If Coterie is bothered by your silence, he doesn't let it show. He keeps walking around, toying with whatever catches his eye. Eventually, he speaks up again. Watch any baseball lately? If I had to guess, you strike me as a Red Sox fan. Now he's inviting you to talk in a more direct manner. You attempt to overcome your physical reaction to him and reply as casually as you can. Middle dots. Your mind keeps going back to that night when everything was changed forever. Waking up in hell with the body next to you, spending a night in that underground sweatbox, unsure of what will happen next. That endless car ride, 3 strikes, a bloodthirsty crowd, that blade. A rebirth, a baptism by fire, a frightening executor who made sure the flames scarred your spirit. As you look into his face, you realize he's read the emotions from yours. Not in the mood to exchange pleasantries, There's no animosity in his voice. He's just stating a fact. Let me get this straight to the point, then. He momentarily stops, caring about his surroundings, turning all of his attention to you, and demanding the entirety of your attention in return. You see, there's something I've realized over the years, in large part. I may have been hired just to look menacing with a sword, but my job is all about seeing through bonds and relationships. The Camarilla would be safe as long as its members adhere to certain social contracts, making their dealings and affinities plain for everyone to see, but that, obviously, remains a pipe dream. This is a community of born conspicutators, overly ambitious gangsters and politicians, monsters in denial, all sorts of tragically broken individuals. They are driven by desires that make them incompatible with the masquerade, incompatible with prolonged survival of the Camarilla, incompatible with the methods I use to operate. And so I am doomed to be like a cop, constantly insulted behind my back, maybe for a good reason, but immediately called for help whenever someone loses their tableware. Or like Agatha Christie protagonist, outwardly assisted by everyone but constantly lied to about everyone's past and motivations. Even in my failure to solve the mysteries might be the end of us all. He tries to sound like he's peacefully resigned to his fate, but it's easy to detect a tinge of regret in his voice. A voice belonging to someone who once had bigger ambitions than this. What broke him? So you see, for this detective, the why whodunit is far more important than the whodunit or howdunit. When you understand all the players and their mutual obligations, you easily understand every crime. But every kindred knows it. So they devise ways to make my job much harder. Just like conspiracies between two unrelated actors that depend on scratching each other's back for mutual security. Or they enforce a blood bond to make someone unexpected their thrall. A boss serving their employee. A rebel serving a tyrant. Just because one is regularly being forced to drink another's blood. What has Sophie seen in you? How does the prince keep asking me about your actions? Sorry, why? How come you're being pushed to build your own Coterie so fast? You are surrounded by unclear motivations, which you yourself don't understand. That unnerves me, and it should unnerve you as well. Oh, and what are your motivations? Finally, you managed to raise your voice. Coterie notices the effort and smiles softly. So you haven't gone mute since the last time I saw you. Good. Well, I'm here for a selfish reason. I need to develop a rapport with you to better fulfill my obligations. The last time we met, I couldn't see you as my equal. Now that you've been accepted into the Camarilla, what choice do I have? I'm running out of his voice. I'd understand if you didn't want to see my face again, but I'm one of the faces of the New York City community, and as long as you're a part of it, it's going to be impossible to avoid me, especially when I have business with you, and I do. As you might have guessed by now, one of my tasks is uncovering and understanding your bonds, and one of them might endanger our community. Ow, my throat. Okay. Well, that's not menacing at all. Who is he talking about? Sophie? Is this about Sophie? Coterie shakes his head. Sophie's fine. She's plotting something big. I know it, and she knows I know it, but she is treading carefully as she should. No, they're not a major player. He produces a file from underneath his coat and passes it to you. This is our troublemaker. You open the file and see some printed photos. You freeze up as you recognize the face and are overwhelmed by a flood of repressed memories. Oh no! Emma. The only person who's kept you hanging on through all these years. The only person you have in your corner of your never-ending fight against the world. You've kept your shit together so far, trying not to think about her until you got everything sorted out. But seeing her face brings a lump to your throat. You look at Coterie, expecting answers. I'll be frank. At first, I thought you were a total commercial failure, someone destined to eventually disappear from the streets of New York without a trace or one soul to care. But it soon looks like your sister is the best guardian one could ask for. Lots of friends in high places, lots of favors to collect. The world is. She'll do anything to get you back. The risk of endangering us is relatively low, but far from I'm out of his voice, I'm sorry. But far from non-existent, which means your sister must be stopped. Must be stopped. Sounds threatening. You dread thinking what he's planning. I'll arrange for you two to meet tomorrow so that you can straighten the situation out and say goodbye to life you've forsaken. He'll arrange what? Your eyes must look like saucers right now. Usually, these matters are left to my discretion, and I can't think of an easier solution. The lost sheep reappears, taken care of, unfinished business, and disappears, never to be seen again, nobody cares. It's simple, it's clean, no contrived schemes, no unnecessary victims. And it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you as I observe, which neonates interact with kind they used to hold dear. Their true natures are laid bare for everyone to see. Of course he is invested in being kind to you, or he's making clear his self-serving intentions so that you don't start figuring them out yourself. Any objections? Any alternatives are probably worse. You shake your head. Well, very well. I'll arrange a meeting and drive you there tomorrow. Better come up with a load of bull that's easy to swallow. He disappears from the apartment, leaving you as confused as the last time he closed the door on you. God damn it! You need to think it through. For a long time, you just sit in your haven, lost in your thoughts, trying to come up with lies that will convince the only person who's ever seen the real you. Alright, let's right. Last time you failed. That's right. You're in your haven when the intercom rings. Answering cautiously, you hear an older male voice. Hello! I'm calling because a friend asked me to come by and offer you my services. Who is this? It's not important. The man sounds strangely excited, breathing hard. Is this a sex thing? No! Or, I mean, not in that way. I know you're one of them. Please, it's all right. I don't mind. You can drink with me, if you understand what I mean. A man you've never seen before is paying a visit to an apartment not many people know of, offering to feed from him. I'm getting creeped out. I'm so sorry. Don't worry. I mean no harm. Silence. A minute passes and you hear a knock on the door to your haven. You cautiously open the door. A stranger looks at you sheepishly. He's in his 30s, dressed in a clean business suit. He looks moderately successful, someone you could meet in an investment bank. I'm sorry. I didn't want to intrude. That's why I called from the downstairs. You know what? Come in. I was hungry anyways. The man looks comically satisfied as you usher him into your haven. He barely waits for you to close the door before he loosens the collar to his shirt, closes his eyes, bares his neck in quivering expectation. You look at the man, taken aback by such forwardness. Figuring that you didn't invite the man here for a chat, you lean in closer, take him by the shoulder, and sink your fangs into him. This is not an unpleasant way to feed. You reflect as the blood flows into your mouth. The food comes to your door of its own volition. The man moans as you drink from him, lost in the ecstasy of the kiss. Feels a little unseemly, but it would be churlish to begrudge him his pleasures. Taking care not to drink too much, you let go of the man after licking his wounds close. Suddenly startled by a surprising sight, a woman, not very old, strangely dressed, is looking at you intently, only arm's length away. Before you can react, the mysterious woman opens your front door and vanishes from sight, leaving you to wonder whether you really saw her at all. As you stare, confused, the man you drank from slips out of your haven and into the hallway, staggered a little from the effects of the kiss. You close your door, wondering what that was all about. At least you got to feed, if nothing else. That was very weird. Knock, knock. You'd ask who's there, but you don't know if the sheriff of the New York City would play along. When you open the door, you see him toying with the car keys he's holding in his hands. Ready to go, fledgling? You don't feel like it, but you give him a nod nevertheless. Excellent. Stay close. He leads you down to the vehicle he's parked nearby. Once again, he takes the wheel, literally and figuratively. Everything inside is just the way you remember it, down to the rear view mirror reflecting the intense stare of your guide. However, the trip itself feels notably different. The last time Coterie drove you around, he was forcibly dragging you away from your old life. This time, he's pulling you back into it. Let me tell you how it's going to go. As I said, I've arranged a meeting between you and your kind. It's going to take place somewhere you should know very well. I'll watch over you, too, from a safe distance to make sure you adhere to the rules. You should know those very well, but I'll reiterate just so you can't ever say I didn't warn you. Don't do anything that will violate the masquerade. Don't establish some secret route of contact. I will know. Do treat it as the last time you two will meet. Take this chance to wrap everything up. Here's your story. You're fine, found yourself at a crossroads, decided to radically change your life and move out of the city. The subway is unbearable, the rent is too high, they've heard it all. However, you wouldn't leave for good without saying farewell to the only person who cared. He gives you a compassionate stare. It's gonna leave a scar, boy, but a true artist knows those are not something to hide, but display with pride. You're a fresh corpse. People you meet can still leave a mark on you. One night, a long time from now, you'll realize you missed collecting new wounds. The car makes a sudden turn. I'll leave the finer details to you. Just be so kind and don't make me regret it. You can sense he's going out of his way for you, but doesn't try to force you into gratitude by stating it plainly. If you know, you know. He'll see if you are worthy of his aid. We're here. Take a look around and recognize your destination. He was right. It's a familiar place. It's right next to that exhibit space. The one where you meet your future sire. This is where you saw Emma for the last time. This is where they last saw poor Lamar. Who knows whatever might happen to him. That's what your sister's trying to find out. I took the liberty of messaging her in your stead. She's up there, waiting for you to come and explain yourself. He turns off the engine and relaxes comfortably in his seat. You silently leave the car and head straight for the exhibit space. The elevator ride up just doesn't seem to end. After what feels like 5 hours, but in reality is closer to 30 seconds, you finally reach your floor. M is standing there, looking at the paintings. She's trying to act carefree, but is holding onto her bag a little too tightly. When she hears your footsteps, she's startled. Then she sees you, and her eyes immediately fill with tears. She runs up to you and gives you a hearty hug. God damn it, Lamar, god damn it. You stay in her arms silent for a little while. The bonds of blood run deep. This feels right. You're so cold. What happened to you? You look into her eyes and start searching your heart for a lie that would satisfy her, if only a little bit. I suddenly decided to do a little traveling, you know. See the world, figure out all these things inside my head. You stop mid-sentence. It's perfectly obvious that you're not exactly telling the truth, and her expression makes it obvious that she knows. What happened? Lamar, talk to me. All the life-saving work she sent your way, from the concept artist job to this very exhibit. I've been losing my mind. Talked to literally everybody I know to ask where the last time they saw you was. All the time she's helped you get your shit together. I've always been honest with you. The least you could do is return the favor. She has, and she absolutely deserves to know, but she can't. Quadir's waiting downstairs. Lamar! Her voice startles you. Your first instinct is to run. And like the beast you become, you trust him. Lamar? You can't do this. Not now. Not like this. She watches as you, kindred and undying creature of the night, zoom away from her, run into the elevator and press the ground floor button. This might be the last time you ever see each other. At least look into her eyes and force yourself to tell her one last thing. Don't search for me, for your own good. She's too stunned to react as the elevator doors close. You slide down the wall, hiding your face in your arms. You find your own priorities disgusting, but whatever gets you down the most is not the fact that you failed to give closure to the only person you ever cared about. It's more than you failed to make this farewell beautiful. It makes you feel like a failure of an artist, even with all this newfound power. Can I come back to this? Wait. Can I save scum? Is that a thing? No, I can't. Dang it. Even with all this newfound power, you still can't express yourself through the canvas of your life. You're still stuck in your old ways. But you know, Em, she'll take the pain you caused her and use it to make art that resonates, that sells. What if authentic trauma is the best gift you could find to repay her generosity? Jesus Christ, you're disgusting. If you consider all of those emotional commodities, no wonder you're a failure as an artist. The elevator door opens. Better run while she's still up there. Back to Quadir's car. Once you close the door, he instantly pulls a foot on the gas pedal. Walking off the pitch with no regrets. Said everything you had to say. Quadir sighs. Yeah, that's what I gathered from here. I'll keep an eye on the situation. Placate her somehow if she won't stop looking. I've got some well-tested methods. Non-violent, of course. He gives you a good stare via the rearview mirror. You're an artist, aren't you? You nod half-heartedly. So you, of all people, should know the things that never work out the way you plan. There could always be more time to plan, tools that could help you execute it better. Perfection, just an accident. The only thing you can do is give it your best shot given the circumstances and immediately move on to the next thing. When all is said and done, regret is nothing but narcissism and a waste of time. Sophie, your courtier, those are the materials you've been given, and they're potent ones. Make the best use of them, so that they might create something more beautiful than your artist's tools ever did. And as a side note, I envy you. I wish I still had someone to make my knees feel like jelly, even when you can't see them anymore. Just knowing they're there keeps you in touch with who you once were. The car speeds up to cross an intersection before the light turns red. You give Coterie a good hard look. Who are you? What have you done with the Coterie al-Ashmiai? At first, he seems confused about the question, but after a while he gets it and chuckles softly. Then he takes on a serious, slightly sorrowful expression. Don't suck up to me, kid. Mr. Bad Guy is still here, and without a doubt, he will go back to decapitating suckers like you any time now. The car starts slowing down. We're here. You look out the window and see your haven. Take care. I'll see you around. Just pray I don't have to see you too often. You leave the car and start walking to your haven, thinking about Quadir. Can't say you're fond of him. What with the welcome he gave you and all. But after tonight, you can say you aren't either. You're gonna need some more time to understand him, that's for sure. I guess we continue her story. Hope is about to head out into the city, accompany her and see her true face. When you get to the internet cafe, Hope is already waiting out front. The sight catches you off guard. Part of you suspected that she might be more of a shut-in. My haven is my castle type. Perfect timing. We need to go for a ride. Get in, get in, get in. She doesn't wait for you to respond and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. The engine starts roaring unexpectedly, causing everyone's heads to turn. Now wanting to attract needless attention, you quickly slip into the back seat of the car. The moment you shut the door behind you, the vehicle sets off, tires screeching. Sorry for not being able to speed up first, but hey. Bringing you up to speed first, but hey, this is New York City. Everyone's always in a rush, and this is even more true when you're kindred. Oh my god, I love her car so much. At pussy work. Now, well, allow me to take care of some business, and I'll be right with you. Even as she's zooming through traffic, she's still on her phone, of course. Nice car. How'd you afford this? It's so cute. Thank you. The lavender really brings out its character, doesn't it? About affording things in the city. It's pretty hard. You gotta be at the top of your game at all times. Might as well explain my business plan to you while I'm at it. So another extremely online malk, based in New York, goes by the name Dev Null, told me to Google Ethereum a few years ago. That's how I got into Bitcoin. And I found a new religion. 20-year-olds selling visions of government replaced by benign code and decentralized consensus. Masses ruled by algorithms as just the laws of physics. Idiot man-child investors trying to shape their realities through sheer fanatical zeal. And dedicated collectors of things as abstract as rare SHA-256 decryptions. Her driving style is far more aggressive and dangerous than you're comfortable with. Is it just you, or does she peek into the rearview mirror more often than she should straight ahead? A hyper-speculative environment where nothing has real value. Only abstract beliefs matter. And your life savings can be ruined by a single bullshit tweet. How could I refuse the allure? I started buying low and selling high on a variety of shady 24/7 exchanges that allow me with 100 times the leverage. As in, they let me 100 times the capital I could bet with. I got lucky at the beginning and kept the ball rolling, shorting and longing and pulsing recklessly. I got to the point where I became too big to fail, and that's when I cashed out. Car comes to an abrupt halt. The bumps up against the seat hid in front of you. Okay, this story will be continued later. We're here, right at our first stop. I'll need you to do me a favor. What favor? Nothing too difficult. Literally a jump in, jump out kind of deal. See that weird guy in the Yankees cap standing around the corner? Approach him and tell him you're young, hot, petite, and genuine. Take the phone he gives you and bring it here. Get going, honey. It's illegal to park here. You jump out of the car and approach the man Hope has pointed out. Not a lot you can tell about him based on his appearance, aside from the fact he seems pretty shady. The guy assumes a comically threatening pose as you approach him. The hell do you want? I'm at young, hot, petite, and genuine. No offense, but I kinda expected a girl. I mean, no, yeah, my bad for assuming, damn. He takes a phone out of his pocket and covertly passes it to you. Everything has been prepared and preloaded according to your instructions. Should I take about 2 minutes to transfer the data? Now get out of here. The man walks away with an exaggerated hip-hop gait. You jump back into Hope's car. She immediately steps on the gas. You got the phone? You're the best. Pass it to me, please. She connects the two smartphones using a cable and begins some sort of data transfer. Looks like it's identical model. After a minute or so, the process is complete. Alright, goodbye, lovely. You served me well. Hope opens the car window, grabs the old phone. You're not expert enough to recognize the exact model, but it definitely looks like it has $800 price slapped on it, and tosses it out the window. Surprise! You look behind you and see a car on the opposite run over the abandoned device. Hope notices your quizzical look. I've been needing a lot of burner phones lately, and I'm not going to use some cheap piece of shit, so it's a pretty expensive necessity. Intersection, red light. She takes advantage of the moment to shoot a driving selfie that strategically excludes her face and uploads it to Instagram. You notice her handles there is Versailles Beauty. Now, I was telling you a story. Cashing out. Right. At some point, towards the end of 2017, I became convinced I needed to cash out. There was no way the bubble was going to last forever. I always knew that there would be no grapes of wrath for the cryptocurrency era. It would have to be a series of profoundly antisocial, disconnected events. The whole crypto culture was a decentralized church of lone millennials who rejected all established modern values and kept atoning for the original sin of not buying Bitcoin back in 2013. Another abrupt, last-second turn, you were pressed against this window. What the hell's with her driving style? Bet a life you never wanted to live anyway. Get a chance to win a priceless pile of nothing. Untethered yourself from all worldly desires. Find joy in suicidal idolation. To this day, money holds no real value for me. It's an abstract as a video game score, a bunch of numbers on the screen. This joyless world changed me forever. I knew I had to escape. So I took my piles of fictional dollars to a new arena, elite NYC social circles. Not because I wanted to scam them and make more, but because I wanted to finally have some goddamn fun. I mean, of course I had to scam them in the process, but it was only in service of becoming something more than a star, a constellation. Another abrupt stop, this time next to the entrance of the shifty-looking back alley. All right, friend, time your leaky guts and your whistleblower extraordinaire. Whenever a press sneak fuck wants to leak, you got it. Got it? Sorry for putting you out there in my place, but I only personally contact people as a last resort. It gets harder to protect my identity each time I show my face. And since I've got you, our man is waiting for you in the back alley. He's paying back a favor with a flash drive containing crucial information we need to stay safe in this city. Retrieve it, I will circle the area, make sure we aren't in danger right now. When you're done, get back here and I'll back you up. Everything clear? Good. You exit the car and see it drive away in a hurry, then head into the narrow passageway. Sure enough, there's a man waiting for you at the edge of the back street, unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes, with a nervous eye tick. He looks even dodgier than last guy you met. When you approach, he gives you a mean look. You lost or something? They're all gonna have the same, I'm leaky gut syndrome. You said you got a little something that might interest me? Of course. Straight to the point, aren't you? All right, then. Clumsily, he produces a USB stick from his front shirt pocket and holds it before your face. When you reach out to take it, he pulls his hand back and gives you a sly grin. Getting all this data was risky, you know. Mr. Montgomery is an unusually secretive person. Digging up dirt in her took more effort than expected. Effort that should be rewarded, I think. The more you ask about her, the more you expect letters saying, give up your inquiries were completely useless at the doorstep. Perhaps attract a severed cat's head, you catch my drift? The secrecy surrounding her screams friends in high places, braver New World Order, Illuminati shit, you know? Makes me think I deserve some hazard pay. You try to imagine what Hope would do if she were in your place, and you simply turn to and start walking back where you came from. Calmly, wordlessly, no negotiations. Just as you're about to walk out of his sight, you hear an annoyed grunt behind you. All right, I shouldn't have put you in the spot like that, my bad, okay? Get back here. You turn around and look at the journalist expectantly. He sighs and extends the hand holding a flash drive towards you again. You take it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Not really sure what it's about, but one of my informants claims you might be interested in this. He reaches into his inner jacket pocket and presses you with something wholly unexpected. It's a bag of blood, labeled simply as AB. You take a closer look, but that doesn't answer any of the questions that just appeared in your mind. You peek into the journalist's cold blue eyes and see them twitch uncontrollably. Don't ask me. They said you know what to do with it. Leaky gut. Come on, take it. Refuse the lid. Keep it. I have no idea who that informant is, but they'll be feeding you bullshit, buddy. Yeah, I don't think so. Another eye twitch and an awkward silence. You give the blood bag one last glance and leave the alley the way you came. Hope's car appears behind the corners just as you walk out onto the street. It doesn't even fully stop when you approach, but slows down just enough so you can jump in. The moment you close the door, she leans into the gas pedal with her full strength, causing the engine to roar. Her driving style definitely doesn't reflect how laid back she seems as a person. We got it? You throw the flash drive into the seat next to her. Perfect. Any problems? How'd the meeting go? You relate the entirety back alley encounter to her. Towards the end of the story, you notice she's not staring at the road or her phone, but directly at your face. The realization startles you. Bloody Mary, you got that bag of blood with you. Left it with him. Felt fishy somehow. Huh, anything particular about it? Nothing, just labeled said ABRH. She steps on the brakes. Fuck. I'm okay. She grabs the flash drive you obtained and throws it out the window. Looks like her favorite method of taking care of problems. That blood was a message. AB negative used to be my blood type. It's the rarest one, found in less than 1% of the United States population. Glad you didn't drink it. Who knows what they would have done to the bag. Some New York City vets can tell your wild stories about using irradiated blood to locate and kill other kindred. Seriously? Glad I didn't drink from it. Better safe than sorry, yeah. Still, I wonder if they would have done anything to his blood. That would be some kind of 5-dimensional chess move. But yeah, this contract is compromised and needs to be cut off. Goodbye, my journalist frenemy, and goodbye, dear Leaky Gut Syndrome. You both outlived your usefulness. After a brief period of hesitation, she deletes the whistleblower extraordinaire account and sighs. Another one bites the dust. I've got another story to finish. I was talking about Bitcoin, and then where did I stop? Constellation. Oh, right. You know who saw the real face of this city? Anna Delvey. Ever heard of her? A Russian working-class girl, born as Anna Sorokin. She moved to New York in 2013 and convinced everyone that she was this insanely rich trust fund kid, a wealthy German heiress. Manhattan elites totally fell for it, and they bought it for years while she swindled them. She only got arrested in 2017 after having stolen almost $300,000. Sorokin created her Delvey persona after thin air, convinced everyone that she was going to set up an art fund, and kept tasting all of life's finest pleasures while being basically broke. She even made up a fake family financial advisor, then killed him off when he became a liability. And apparently, most of her rich victims never admitted being scammed out of shame. But now you're sure. The way she scrutinizes her surroundings, her reckless driving, she's trying to escape somebody. Now, Delvey's locked up with murderers and Rikers, writing her memoirs, apparently picking a lot of fights. Bless her heart. She'll forever be an inspiration. But I have more advantages than she ever did. I have my own considerable funds, and I can rely on many more made-up people than just some old-ass financial advisor. A whole bunch of fake content creators and influencers that have every rich dumbass wants to get in touch with and collaborate. Makes it super easy to earn more money than I invest. You've seen it firsthand, both as a deceiver and the deceived. It's a city of illusions. Make non-existent money, come up with a fictional status, play non-essential Camarilla games. And one day, you might just find yourself at the top. Alright, we're reaching our last stop. You look around, you're coming up on a parking garage. You're gonna take an elevator to the 70th floor. Give the masked man you met in front of the door this memory card. It contains an art house movie I've made. By art house, you mean vampire. Yes, a movie you see me rehearse in my haven. You didn't think I was doing that just for show, did you? I found some filthy rich Manhattan pervs who'll pay a fortune for a convincing vampire cam show. I don't need money, but their IT industry connections gave me an idea. When we give them the memory card, we'll gain access to tech that should allow us to take on my biggest enemy in this city. So your nickname in this time is going to be a Crash. You're momentarily dazed and can't immediately understand what happened. The first thing you know for sure is, if you were a normal human being, you'd be dead. You replay the last few seconds in your head. The other car appeared out of nowhere and crashed into Hope's vehicle at the maximum speed it was able to achieve in this closed-off space. The driver has already managed to kick open the mangled door next to him and stumbled out of his seat. Now he ruthlessly approaches the trunk and takes a large caliber silenced pistol out of it. Spooky. He starts approaching the lavender wreck of Hope's car, obviously ready to finish the job that he started. You have to be fast and violent. It's you or him. Your instincts take over. You don't come up with a strategy or optimal route. You simply start running towards the gunman, yelling. For a split second, he's completely dumbfounded. Then he opens fire. The bullets put a brief stop to your sprint. You're engulfed in pain, your flesh and clothes being shredded to bits. But when his magazine runs out, you're still standing and determined to move forward. He tries to act quickly as possible, but he can't reload his weapon before you get to him. A tackle, a primal scream, left punch, right punch, left punch, right punch. You return this cruelty tenfold to his face. When you're done, the head is barely recognized as human. You start above the gunman's body, trying to calm yourself in your killer's instincts. That's when you hear her voice. Ugh! Hope slithers out of her car and sees you standing over your silent. Huh? You did pretty good. She approaches the body of the driver you killed and kicks it so she can take a better look at it. Upon seeing the front of the corpse, she lets out an employed grunt. Knew it would be this asshole. He's been following us all day and I just know who he belongs to. Even before she's done talking, she's already trying to reach somebody through a video call. Eventually, she succeeds. You see a nonchalant woman in a business casual on her smartphone screen. Kara Montgomery, how may I help you? Kara! Hope, I didn't expect you to ever reach me through this channel. Have you thought things through? Wait, did something happen? Did something happen? You fucking ghoul? Just try to kill me, you crazy bitch! That's what fucking happened! Calm yourself. For Christ's sakes, this is a baseline accusation. I know he's from Double Spiral. He's been working at your motherfucking company. Come on, you know I can't be held responsible for the independent actions of my subordinates. Why don't we just meet up and talk it out? Hope disconnects the call and instantly blocks Kara from contacting her. You corporate shithead, you make me sick! Tired, she recognizes her gaze. She turns her gaze to the dead ghoul. I'll dispose of him. Help me put him in my car. 30 seconds later, his body is laying on the back seat of the lavender-colored wreck. Okay, good. Take a good look at the scene of carnage in front of you. Every second we're here gets us closer to a serious masquerade violation. I'll have exchanged my Palme d'Ore worthy masterpiece for their goods some other time. She gets behind the wheel and you follow her inside the car. Meet me in my haven when I tell you it's safe. For now, I need to dump this asshole somewhere, get my car fixed, and plan our counterattack. You guide Hope to your own haven, she drops you off, and before she leaves, she makes what is about to come perfectly clear. If we want to survive this city, Kara Montgomery needs to die. You disappear into the traffic, and you disappeared into your place. And that's where we'll end it, I think, for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't really put a lot of my 2 cents in this one, but whatever. I'm glad we got to finish some stories. Got to meet some people. Got to hang out with Hope some more. I like Hope a lot. She's so fun. Her voice thing is hard, though. Sorry, I suck. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next video. Don't forget I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays over here on YouTube. Mondays and Thursdays on Twitch. Myriad of Roses _ instead of spaces. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time.